Alright guys, so I am super excited for today's video, but first I wanted to share my outfit because I really liked it today. I thrifted it or got it as a gift. I have these Urban Outfitters earrings. This sweater I ended up thrifting as well as my skirt. And then for my boots, I ended up getting it as a gift as well, and they're Free People. So super fun things. I'm really excited to share this tutorial though with you guys. I have seen a lot of crop cardigan sweaters, and so I had an old one and I wanted to redo it. So let's get started. All right guys, so this is the cardigan that I plan on DIYing. So as you can see, it already has a missing button. And what I want to do is actually take one of the buttons and move it up higher because it goes pretty low for the buttoning, and replace this button and basically crop it. But depending on how this seam ends up being, if it starts just falling apart really, I'm gonna take the bottom of this and sew it up to the top. So I might end up doing like a little extra crop there. And then I've had this sweater for a long time, so this part is kind of ripping in the back. So I'm just gonna do a quick refix for that. So I will show you guys how I do it. These are the materials that you'll need: some scissors, thread matching your material, a needle, and a ruler. Next, snag your thread, and basically you're gonna measure out double or quadruple, pretty much like what you'll need for the area that you're sewing, and double it, basically fold it in half, and then you're gonna thread that through the needle. Once you have that, make sure both of the sides match. Then you're gonna knot it multiple times, basically so that that knot is big enough not to slide through the fabric when you're sewing. So here's the hole in the back that I was talking about earlier, and this is what we're actually gonna sew up and repair. Make sure that you're sewing from the inside so that that knot shows up on the inside rather than the outside. And basically you're just going to do an under and over movement back and forth, covering the whole seam that you're wanting to sew up. And you're going to do that all the way down the line and then back up the line again. Once you get towards the end, then you're basically gonna double knot it multiple times and tie it off. And when you tie it off, then just cut off the excess. That was literally the worst cutting for the thread, but I went back and cut it correctly later. For this next piece for the buttons, it's really important that you line them up so you know where the buttons are actually going to be placed, and where, for this specifically, I'm going to be cutting the hole for the new button that I'm actually going to be putting on this. I also want it to be this, I want it to be a little bit more precise, and so I broke out a ruler just to measure out the distance between each of the buttons so that this matched up an equal distance between all of the buttons and the new buttons that I was putting on. And then I took my pencil and marked where I actually wanted to make the cut and place the new button. Once you're all done measuring, then break out the scissors and make the cut. Then you'll do a little test to make sure that it lines up and that it fits the actual button. If you like it, then it's time to sew. Measure out your thread that you will need for this. Double it up, quadruple it, double it again, and then double knot the ends big enough so that it doesn't slide through the fabric when you're sewing. One's a little different. Rather than sewing it together, you're basically wanting to sew the ends of it so that it doesn't unravel and that it stays pretty sturdy when you're putting it over the button. And so you're doing an overlap just over the entire thing rather than sewing it together. So you're just doing an under over, basically surrounding that whole oval, that whole hole that you just made. Perfect, but it'll keep it secure when it's over the button. For this crop, I measured it out when I wore it where I wanted it to be cropped. I made a little snip and then I laid it out super flat, make sure the sides were parallel to each other, and then I started cutting on a flat surface. Alright guys, so here is the finished product. I ended up moving up a button, replacing another one, and then I fixed the seam in the back that was coming apart, and then I went ahead and cropped it. And I paired it with a lace bralette and then some jorts, as well as some low heels. And I really like it. I think it's a fun outfit piece, and you can pair it with a lot of different things. So I'd love to hear if you guys end up trying it, share below, and be sure to like, subscribe, and give this video a share. So for this first look, I would suggest honestly anything that's high-waisted. So I just snagged my favorite high-waisted jeans and paired it with the cardigan and some strappy heels. And then you can throw in really any patterns for this outfit because my cardigan is more of a neutral tone. I stuck to more neutral tones with this, made a switch for the shoes, throw in some sneaks with the skirts, a lot of fun. And then for my last look, I ended up throwing on a dress. So you can really do a lot of things with this cardigan, but would love to see what you guys come up with.